Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video by me, FoxyNoTail, here on the Truly Bedrock Season 2 server. And we are still in 1.14 because, for me, the update doesn't come out until tomorrow. And this video is mainly going to be all about transferring over to the update, going through everything I need to go through in order to get everything up and running. So it's a bit of an admin episode. But before we get into all of that technical goodness, we've got a few things to look at and talk about, because a few things have happened between the last video I recorded, which was the stone shop with Slack, and yeah, basically we've had a couple of live streams. Though first live stream, if you haven't already seen, is we did another section to our one chunk build. We now have a castle on a cloud, which I really like. It's a cute little thing. And we've got sky. We've got sky there, and we've also got sky going down to our tent, whereas we had the black concrete ceiling before. We now have sky go, oh, help. Yeah, we have sky going into that one, which I really like. So we've got this actual daytime and nighttime feel in this room now as well. It doesn't always just look like nighttime, which I really like. So that's that thing. Next, also on a live stream, and if you haven't been watching my live streams, head over to twitch.tv/FoxyNoTail in order to check those out. Got another 2 nether stars. We sold the beacons, right? We sold those 2 beacons, and Slack and I on a live stream went to get another few wither skeleton skull heads, and we got another 2 nether stars. So we actually were fighting the withers on the overworld. No cheats, no hacks. It was all good fun. We had a great time. Lots of mishaps, lots of accidents, lots of me going, oh, this won't kill me, and then going pop. So yeah, if you missed out on that, you can also catch the replay on Foxy2. I have a second YouTube channel where I upload all of my live streams too. So if you don't want to watch them live, or if you didn't get a chance to, you can head over there and check them out afterwards, and you can skip through those videos to your heart's content. Anyway, so that's this area. We've got some more nether stars, and we've got another roof to our thing. Now I'm going to head off to the shopping area and see what's been happening over there. Now, I know Slack has already been over here today and collected some of our profits, which we'll show you in a minute when we get back to our base area. First thing I'm going to do, though, is check the stone shop. Check our fiery forge, see if we've had any sales in there. I don't know if we will, because I don't know if Slack has already checked this. But first things first, the minecart's still working, which is good. I know people have been to it because some of the members have been messaging me in Slack in our Discord to tell us what a good job we've done, which is always nice. And here we go, look, we've got a diamond block there for a shulker box worth of stone, so that's pretty good. I might leave that there for now, though, rather than collecting it, because I think it might be, it might be good to sort of show off that people are buying things. It doesn't look like anyone's taken anything out of those boxes. What about these? No, nothing from those. And yeah, I've just wandered in here without really paying too much of attention. If you didn't watch the last video where Slack and I built this, we had an absolutely amazing time. We did it all in one day, and it took us ages. It took us about 9 or 10 hours, and we were both incredibly proud of the result. Now, at the moment, it's only selling stone and cobblestone, but in the future, we want it to be selling all of the new nether stone stuff. We want, the black stone as it's called. We want to sell iron in here and gold, so we're going to need some iron and gold farms as well. And maybe even diamonds at some point as well. You never know. We want to be selling all sorts. And there is a little pathway down there which you can't actually get to at the minute, which doesn't lead anywhere, but I'm hoping that's going to be the area where all of our black stone is, underneath the main bit, because that sort of signifies the nether, I guess, if it's below, right? Anyway, on to the other shops to check the profits, which Slack's already done, but I kind of wanted to do it anyway. One shop that Slack won't have been checking the profits for is the Truly Depot that me and BJW built together, and I can see that already we've got a couple of diamond blocks there. So we sold at least a shulker box with the scaffold in there, and I know BJ was actually putting some barrels in here to sell as well, which is great. It's a good idea to sell more than just scaffolding, and there we go, we've got some profits there as well. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to clean these ones out, and I'm going to split them up with me and BJW. So let's take these ones, but I am going to leave the one over at the stone shop, just so I don't get it confused. I don't want to be collecting profits for me and Slack and BJW and then get confused as to who's got what. Oh, we got another 4 diamonds in there. Again, I'm not going to collect these ones because I don't want to get them confused with BJW's ones. But yeah, it's nice to know that there are. I don't want to get on Slack's head. I want to check there. Yeah, that's still got plenty in. That's good. And next, the fishing hut. Have we made any sales in the fishing hut at all? And that's a no. There's nothing in there. And last but not least, what about the mushroom shop? No, absolutely nothing there. So, I need to go and split those profits between BJW and I. And then yeah, I've got one more thing to show you before we start getting on with some admin. So there we go. There is half of the diamonds in the scaffolding shop profits for BJ box just outside BJ's little house here. I'm going to go drop the rest in my little shop profit area down below. And while I'm down there, I can show you the other thing that I wanted to show you. And there we are. So they're from the scaffolding shop, and these are what Slack must have found before, which means we need to replace all of these for emeralds, and I've got hardly any emeralds, so that's going to be very tricky. Now, the thing I wanted to show you is these chests have appeared. It seems that Slack has a new thing that he does on his streams. People can actually use their stream redemption points to choose to give other members presents. Now, they've chosen to give me 2 bad presents and 1 good present. So the bad present is a stonecutter. Well, you know, I know there's a thing about me and stonecutters, but I'll take it for decoration if nothing left. I'm happy with that. A name tag. It says bruh. It's probably because I got a thing about people saying bruh to me, but yeah, again, name tag, very useful. I'll take it. And in this one, another mending bow. Look at that amazing bow. Fantastic. If you're listening to this, Slack, if you can do me some infinity ones as well in future, that'd be good. I'm kind of warming more towards infinity at the minute, to be honest with you. I'm finally being won over to the infinity cause, so yeah, if you've got any infinity bows kicking about, my friend, I will happily take them. Now, annoyingly, this name tag doesn't stack with those ones, so it is going to have to go elsewhere, but that's the rest of the stuff tidied up. So that's everything sorted out and put away, and before we get onto the admin, there is just one more thing I want to do before we start, and bear in mind, I'm not actually going to be doing any of the admin for me until about 24 hours from now. I'm actually going to be doing a live stream before I start doing the admin on here, but in terms of this video, that's how it's going to go. The last thing I want to do is this. I want to equip myself some noob juice, and I want to have a fly around the nether, because this is it. After today, this nether's gone. When I wake up tomorrow morning at 9 AM my time, I'm shutting off the server, and anything that's in here is going to be gone. Anything that's in the nether is going to be wiped out, deleted. The whole thing is going to get reset. And when I fly through here, probably later on in this video, you're going to be seeing that we've got a whole new nether and a whole new biomes and all of the fancy stuff that comes with the update. So I guess what I'm doing really is just having a little bit of a fly around to say goodbye. 1.14 nether. It's been, well, not just 1.14, but the nether for as long as I can remember in Minecraft has pretty much looked like this, and it is going to be incredibly sad that you're never ever going to see nether generation like this ever again. This is it. Not just in this world, not just in other Truly Bedrock worlds, but any world ever generated after 1.16 on both Bedrock Edition and Java Edition are going to be completely different to this. There's never going to be another generation like this. So yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, it's also really exciting. Goodbye, Nether. See you when you're all new and shiny. Goodbye. There is one very last thing I need to do before I close this world down, and that is to empty all of the stuff out of my inventory and take my armor off. And I also need to completely empty out my ender chest. And the reason for doing that is this. When I download the world to a single player world, I'm no longer a server player. I become the world owner and I get a completely different ender chest and inventory. So if I've got anything on when I save the world, when I put it to a single player world, I'll lose it all. And then when I take it back to the server, there's a chance it won't come back again because I'll effectively be a new player. So the other thing we need to be careful of is making sure I save my deaths as well. As you can see, I've got 30 deaths here. When we've finished all this, I want to make sure that we haven't lost that count for us either. And if I have, I need to make sure that I fix that. So now I can quit the game and I can close down Minecraft and I can stop the server. by clicking the stop button, clicking yes, and that will take one very last save, and then that will say stopped and idle at the top. I can close that, and that's not going to load again. And this is actually on a remote desktop of our server PC. If I close that, I go back to my PC, and we now have the server files here. So this is the server. Inside we've got the BDS folder, which has got all of the Bedrock dedicated server stuff from Mojang, and in that there is a worlds folder, and this Truly Bedrock Season 2 or TBS2 is our actual world. This is our actual genuine world, the one I was just on a second ago. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click it, and using 7-zip, which is a free compression program, I'm going to do add to archive, and I'm going to call it TBS2 pre 1.16 1. And the 1 is important because I'm going to be working on multiple copies of this, making new copies each time I make changes so that I've got fallbacks and backups in case I make mistakes. Click OK. And once that's finished zipping up, I'm going to drag that into another folder which is called Important Saves. And this is where I keep all of the Truly Bedrock 2 important stuff. I'm also going to make a backup of the full server, including all of the server files, because we'll be changing this and all of these files later on to update it to 1.16. And if I make any mistakes, I want to make sure I've got a 100% fallback and a copy of everything. Before I do save that, though, I'm going to go into the saves folder, and I'm going to delete that save that it just made. That's the last save. We don't need it anymore because we've got a backup of the actual world. We'll delete that, which is going to reduce the overall file size of this. So now I can select all of that, and I'm going to go to 7-zip, add to archive, and this time I'm going to call it TBS2 pre 1.16.1 and then full server. I want to know that this is the full server backup and not just the world. So once that's finished, we'll drag it into our important saves folder as well. Just like that. And now we no longer need these server files until later on, and we can get on to stage 2. And the first thing we're going to do for the next stage is to actually open up that zip file we made. So the first zip file of our world save, the pre 1.16, not the full server, but the world one. We're going to double click that, open that up in 7-zip, and I'm actually going to drag that world folder there into my Minecraft worlds folder. So this is all of my Minecraft worlds. I'm going to grab that, drag it in there, assuming I haven't already got one called TBS2, which I haven't, so it's not going to get confused. And then we will have the Truly Bedrock Season 2 world in our Minecraft worlds. Opening up Minecraft again, going to play and our worlds, you'll see that that is now at the top. And I know it's that one because there's no thumbnail. And also it's the save, you know, this today. That's the day I've made the save. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to give this the same name we called the world. So pre 1.16.1, and then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to copy. I want to make a copy to work on before I do anything else because I want to leave that one absolutely fresh. So we've always got something to fall back up if we need to. So I'm going to call this pre 1.16.2, and I'm actually going to go into this world and just make sure everything's okay and everything loads all right. If we've got a corrupt world to start with, we're not going to do very well. And there we go. Everything's rendered in, which is good. This is a good sign. And if we go to this, you'll see, look, I no longer am listed. Although my player is there as with 30 deaths, it's no longer classed as me because on a single player world, I'm classed as the world owner and not a player. So I don't get the same, I don't have the same player data. So I'm just going to go down back into our little hole down here. I'm going to check that all that stuff I saved is there. So there's my inventory stuff. And there is my ender chest stuff, and in my ender chest it's completely empty. So everything's fine, everything's exactly how it was. So now we can actually get on with sorting the world out, ready for updating it to 1.16. So let's close it. And then I'm actually going to delete that number 2 that we've just made there. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want to work on a world that I've been in single player. I want to work on one that's fresh from the server. So I'm now going to go to edit that one again. I'm going to copy it again. And this time I'm going to call it number 3. And I know this might seem a little bit over the top, but trust me, it's worth it in the long run. So I'm going to come out of that. I'm not going to go into that world. And now I'm just going to close Minecraft altogether. So now I've opened up a program called MCC Tool Chest. It is now updated to the latest version of that as well. And if I click on the open, all of my worlds pop up, and I want the one that we've just created, which is pre 1.16.3. And if I click on that, eventually that's going to load into this program, just like that. And now I need to go to the Nether, and all of this is going to get deleted. These are our Nether chunks, or in fact, these are our Nether regions. And I'm just going to delete them all. And the way you do that is to click one at a time, and you press the delete key and then press enter. And you just do that over and over and over and over again until you've done them all. Sadly, you can't select more than one at once, which is a little bit annoying. And I don't think you can just select the nether and delete that either. So yeah, you need to go through it one by one, which is a little bit annoying. There is, if you go to Tools and Miscellaneous, Delete or Prune Area, which we could potentially use. But I've never really got this to work properly, and it doesn't actually give us what dimension we're working in either. So I'm going to ignore that. That also exists on the map screen. If we open up the map, we've got an area here. We can put in an area and we can select it. And then we can do things like biome fill, chunk fill, paste, copy. And I believe there's delete and prune as well. But I've not got those to work. So I think it's easier and safer. So you know exactly what you're doing, just to go through these one by one and just delete them all like that. And now that the entire nether has been deleted, I'm going to click save. And we now know that our number 3 file has got no nether in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to file, save as, and then I'm going to click new world, and I'm going to call it, you guessed it, TBS2 pre 1.16 4. So now I'm working on an entirely new copy of the world, and we know that number 3 is safely there with our nether empty. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually to delete the entire end as well, just like we did with the nether. Now, I could save the island and the area around that, but we've not actually killed the dragon yet, and we've not actually put any structures there, so I really don't think it matters. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing and just delete every single one of these regions until the end is completely fresh. And there we go. That's the end and the nether now completely deleted. So again, save it. And then I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to do save as, and then I'm going to do new world, and I'm going to call it TBS2 pre 1.16 5. And now that we know that number 4 has a completely wiped nether and end, and we can work on 5 without affecting that. Now, before I start making any more changes to the world, I want to come back into Minecraft, make another copy, yet more copies of that world. I'm not going to bother renaming this one this time. I just want to hop in there and just make sure that the world is okay. I haven't done any damage to it. The overworld's still fine and everything like that. I'm pretty sure it will be, so that's all fine. And if I go through my nether portal over here, we should see that there's no nether anymore. At least it's not going to be the new nether yet, because we're still in 1.14 effectively. But we'll see that, yeah, nothing's been done. So the nether has been reset. I don't even have a portal up. My portal is completely gone. Now, that leads us on to something interesting. So now if we click on data and open that up, we'll see there is actually a record called portals, and in that it saves the records of all of the nether portals in the world. If we open up this top one here, we'll see dimension ID is 0. That'll be one in the overworld. And if we go down to the bottom, you'll see that there are ones with dimension ID 1, so they'll be the ones in the nether. So they should be the counterparts to the ones in the overworld. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of the nether side ones, and this is just the reference. This isn't the actual portal blocks themselves, it's just the reference. So they should all be clumped together, I believe, the dimension ID ones, and by the looks of it is. That one is dimension ID 0. So I'm going to select all of these ones, and I can select all, thankfully, this time. And I'm going to click that red X there, get rid of those, and I'm just going to check that the rest of these are all dimension 0. Now, there's definitely no more dimension 1s in there, so I'm going to click save. I'm going to hop back into Minecraft, and now I'm going to make yet another copy. This is going to be a throwaway copy, so I'm not going to bother renaming it. I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to hop in there, and I'm going to make sure that when I go through my portal, a new one is generated on the nether side. So this doesn't actually delete the portal blocks, it is just the reference or the link. So I'm going to go into my portal here, and hopefully when I arrive in the nether, there will be another portal there. And there we go, there is another portal in the nether, and hopefully when I go back, this one will link to my one and not generate a new one elsewhere. Although it's not impossible, it will generate a new one elsewhere. No, there we go. That's absolutely fine. Now, if I deleted all of the links to the overworld portals, these one as well, when I came back through there, it would actually create a portal over there instead, because it would lose all reference to the overworld portals. All of a sudden, the game would think they don't exist. So for the ones in the dimensions that we haven't deleted, we need to keep those references. So I'm going to throw away that throwaway world by chucking it in the bin. And now we've got number 5 is working without the portals that we want. We've still got the overworld portals recorded in there. We can now do save as again. We're going to do another new world and call this number 6. And we know that number 5 is there safe without any portal records. So that's pretty much everything we need to do in terms of the world files to get ready for 1.16, apart from one thing, and you might not necessarily be doing this on your world, but we can also prune the overworld. If we go to the overworld and then look at the map, eventually it will load up, filling in all the areas that we've traveled. So this only shows areas that have been loaded, i.e. chunks that have been loaded. The areas around the chunks, these are not been loaded, but we can see that quite a lot of the bits that have been explored go out of our world boundaries. Now we set a world build limit of plus 4,000 blocks by minus 4,000 blocks, and anything outside of those gets pruned and deleted, so we don't build outside of there, but we can gather resources outside of there. And you can see things have gone quite a long way in a lot of different directions. So for reference, if you've been watching some of our videos, this is the Mushroom Island that Slack and I have been working on. This area here is Dan Rob's Prob's jungle. This area is where Slack and I have been fighting the Withers. And going up to the other end of the map, we've got Jesse B's Mushroom Island here. We've got the spawn area, and we've got our shopping district here and the mace around the top. So I've actually put in the chunk areas that we're going to be saving. This is our build limit. If you take your 400 or your 4,000 block limit and divide it by 16, that will give you the chunk coordinates. Now, this gives us minus 256 to 256. So the highlighted blue area is the area of the map we keep, and anything outside of that will be deleted. And one way we can do that is to click the prune area. Now, I've never actually got this to work, but supposedly by clicking that, that should delete all of the chunks outside of that area that I've selected. But let's find out. Let's see if it actually works since this has been updated. And there you go. You can see the chunks are disappearing from below the map. This is the first time this has ever worked for me. This is saving me so much work. Please, fingers crossed, work properly. And they have. We only have the chunks left that are within our spawn area, and that is from minus 8 to plus 8. So there we go. That is our overworld fully pruned as well. Now that the overworld's been successfully pruned to the build limit, we now need to look a little bit deeper into this around my base area. But before we do any of that, I am going to again make one more save. And once that's loaded up, we're going to open the world map. And we're going to zoom into the area that I'm going to soon be calling home. Now, I have basically claimed this bay area here and this little range of mountains at the back there. And it looks like people have traveled over it. So I want to basically prune all of those chunks so that it gets all of the new generation. But I'm going to have to be careful. Because looking at our world map, you'll see as much as this is my area here, we've got Mr. Beardstone very close by and Silent and Liara. So I need to be careful. As much as I want this coastline all fresh and this mountain range back here all fresh, I've got to make sure I don't go anywhere near Mr. Beardstone or Liara. So I'm basically going to try and cover this area around here. So coming back to our map, this is sort of Mr. Beardstone's area around here. Liara's kind of around here, and Silent, as you can even see the Guardian Farm on there. So I really sort of need to be quite close in. So first of all, I'm going to use the chunk selection again to select an area that I think is relatively safe to get rid of. Although I'm a little bit concerned, this is a little bit close to Mr. Beardstone. So I'm just going to bring it back a little bit actually. Instead of picking that chunk there, I'm going to go back to here, which is chunk minus 46107. So I'm going to change the coordinates there. And I'm going to click delete to delete all of the loaded chunks around that area, which does take a surprisingly long time. Now that that's done, I'm going to tidy around these little bits here. So I'm going to pick this chunk there, which is minus 4570. And I'm going to pick maybe like this chunk down here, just so I get a reasonable amount of the ocean that's new as well. And that is minus 26 and 109. And coming back to the map, we can see that both of those areas have been deleted, which is absolutely great. Now, all of these little dotty ones around here I want to get rid of as well, just to keep that nice and tidy. And one last time, I'm going to make a backup number 8, and that is our last one. That's it. We don't need to do anything else to this world now prior to the update other than working on our add-ons. So here we go. We have the world that we've just created. I am going to right-click it. I'm going to do 7-zip, add to archive, and I'm just going to leave it as the default what it's already called. And then once that's made, I am going to move that back to our important saves folder. Now, there will be a couple more things I've got to do with the file structure for that when I get it over to the world. I'm going to have to delete this folder and that folder. I'm going to have to change these world and behavior resource packs to point to the right add-ons once we've sorted those out. But other than that, the database files and the main world files are absolutely fine. We can leave those like that. But of course, before we get too confident, it's a good idea to just come back in here, make another throwaway copy of that world, and just go into it, make sure everything works as expected. We don't want to be uploading a corrupted world back to our server once it's finished. So let's hop in here. And everything looks like it's loaded in okay, which means that Overworld is okay. Let's just quickly drop into the Nether. And that's all okay. So I would say this world is working okay. So I'm happy for that to be put back on the server once we get to 1.16. So now I need to work on the packs. And so that I don't bore you to death, I have updated all of the behavior and resource packs that we use on Truly Bedrock. Without going into any details, I have created a changelog of all the things that I've done, which if we look at this, there's quite a lot of files that I've changed and fixed and updated and fixed bugs and all that sort of stuff. And then I downloaded the new version of Minecraft, which is 1.16.0. And I copied the world again, just in creative, so that I could test all of those things. And I'll just show you what I've been doing. You can see in here there are big holes from where we've had withers and charged creepers and all sorts of stuff, making sure everything was working and making sure all of the things worked as expected and there were no bugs. Also wanted to make sure that the Nether would load as I would expect that to as well. As you'll see as we go through here, we now have the new Nether terrain, although it looks very similar. But when we poke our head out of here, there was a Nether fortress over there before. But now we've got these crimson and other biomes. Yeah, there was a Nether fortress right down there. That all works. So what I need to do now is get a server up and running and then transfer all the files in the world back to it. Oh, and I'm Alex, by the way, because my skin broke. Hurrah! So I'm going to quit out of that. I'm going to quit out of Minecraft. And I'm going to come along to the Minecraft website where you can download the dedicated server software. And I'm going to click download. And I'm going to save Bedrock Server 1.16.0.2 to my downloads folder. And then close my browser. And if I open up this zip file, I need to then update my actual server with these files. So do you remember quite a long time ago in this video, we took a full backup of the server? That's because we need to replace a lot of the files with these ones. So let's hop over to the actual server. So coming back over to our server PC file directory and into the BDS folder, this is basically the vanilla Bedrock dedicated server software, the same that we just downloaded, but this is for 1.14.6. What we've got to do is copy these files into here, overwriting anything that we don't want to keep, but not overwriting things we do want to keep. And there's some important files in here we want to keep. For instance, we want to keep our whitelist file, which has the whitelist for all the players. We want to make sure our server properties don't get undone, and we want to make sure our permissions don't as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our main folder. I'm going to rename that BDS to BDS old, just like that. And now I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it BDS, and I'm going to open it, and I'm going to drag all of the stuff we just downloaded into there, just like that. Once that's finished copying across, I now need to open both folders so I can copy the files that I want from one to the other. So going back to the TBS2 folder, I'm going to right click that and do open in new window. And that's our old one. And I'm going to just double click on our new one there. And if I just resize these windows a little bit, I'll be able to see them a lot easier on one screen. So we've got our old files here, our new files there. And the first thing we want to do is copy the whitelist over and overwrite our new whitelist. So let's do that. And the same with permissions. So let's copy that and replace that. Now the next one is server properties, but I'm not just going to overwrite that one because sometimes they add in new fields. So we actually need to check these side by side and make sure there's no differences. So if I open our old one and I open the new one, in Notepad++, I can actually split them from side to side, and I can also use a plugin called Compare to actually compare both of those files, and it will highlight what's different in those files. So you can see on our TBS2 file, we've got the difficulty on hard, whereas on default, it's on easy. And you can see we've changed a few of the different things as well. One thing I'm looking out for is anything at the bottom that may be new things added. These fields at the bottom were added a few updates ago, and I'm always cautious that they might add new ones, but it doesn't look like they have. And I think, yeah, everything there can be pretty much just copied from the old one to the new one. So grabbing our old one, I'm going to drag it straight into our new one, and that will fix that. And you might notice the other thing as well is we've got bedrock_server.exe. That's the default name for it. I actually renamed that to TBS2 just to make life easier for myself when I'm running multiple servers. So let's change that to TBS2. And now that should be pretty much set up, apart from we don't have our world in there and we don't have our behavior packs. So here's my behavior packs folder now side by side, and if I go into behavior packs there, all I'm going to do is grab the one that I've just been working on into there. Bear in mind I have changed the manifest file to update the UUIDs and things so we don't get confused with the old ones. And now I'm going to go into the resource packs folder. Bear in mind it is the proper resource packs and not development resource packs folder. And I'm going to copy that one in there as well. Now, before I boot this up as a proper server, I'm actually going to run it without an actual proper world in there. I'm just going to run this server by double-clicking that there. And that's going to actually boot up the server. It's going to create a world. And I can tell then if we've got any issues like the pack's not working and it looks like everything started okay. I can join that world if I want to. But right now, I'm just going to stop that. And I'm going to go into our valid known packs file and make sure that those packs that we just added have actually been added in here. So if I scroll down, I should be able to see there's one, look, TBS2 version 2 B, that's the behavior pack. And if I look around, I should be able to see TBS2 version 2 R, that's the resource pack. So both of those have been added in there. So that's worked well. It's found those packs and it's happy with them. So now what I can do is actually copy the world into here. So I can delete those worlds that are there. And if I go back to my Minecraft Worlds folder, it was this one. There was the latest one we were working on, and I can pretty much just copy and paste that in there. So I'm going to grab that, click Ctrl-C to copy it, and I'm going to paste it into our Worlds directory, like that. Now I'm going to rename it to TBS2, because that's what it says to do in the server properties file. And inside this, I can get rid of that behavior packs folder because we don't need it. I can get rid of the resource packs folder because we don't need it. And I need to update these so they match the same numbers that we got in our valid known packs file. So I'm going to open both of those. I'm going to go back to the main directory, the BDS directory. I'm going to open up valid known packs, which is the one we were looking at a second ago. And I'm bringing that over to this side of the screen so I can see both sides. So this is my world behavior packs file, and I need that to have the behavior pack that it found. I need it to have this information here. The main part is this UUID, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that into where the pack ID is. And the other important bit is the version. So we've got 2.0.0, so I need to change this to 00, and I'm also going to change this little comment at the top. Now this comment doesn't actually do anything, that's just for my reference later on if I come to update the pack. I know that this pack is the Truly Bedrock version 2 pack that I've been working on, so that's behavior packs done. I'm going to save that, and then I made a slight error. And I found the issue straight away. I'm an idiot. This world resource pack history is completely the wrong file. That's no good to us whatsoever. This should be world resource packs. I've somehow managed to copy and paste the wrong file from somewhere else. So if we change that, now if we copy and paste the stuff we got in our world behavior packs in there, and then copy the actual right information we needed from our valid known packs, now this will work. Getting the UUID from there and throwing that in there, and then everything else is the same. I can save that. Now it should work. And there we go. Now you can see all of the mob heads are available to us. Everything's working 100% correctly. I'm very happy with that. I can now put the server live and get everyone back on it, which means I need to stop that server. Go back to that worlds folder, open up that, and I'm going to delete everything that's in the level database and the level dat and the level dat old files. And get rid of those. I want to keep the others because they're useful. We've already changed those. And I'm going to go back to my world files, grab our latest world file, and I'm going to drag the DB, the level.dat and the level.dat old files into there like that. And now that server's 100% ready to go, except for one last thing. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take one last backup of this. So I'm going to create another zip file. I'm going to call it 1.16.1, and I'm going to copy that to our important saves folder over here. And I'm going to do this thing where I copy the entire server again as well. Now I can get rid of that BDS old folder. I don't need that anymore. So let's delete that. Highlight all of that. Add to archive 1.16.1 full server. And then we'll back that up as well. And we chuck that in our important saves folder as well. And there we go, that's done. So I can remote desktop back into the actual server, like so. And once I'm in there, I can load up my proper server software again. And if I hit start now and press yes, we should be up and running on 1.16. Here we go. You can see version 1.16. The world is starting. It's opening up and it says server started. Let's go back to our Minecraft client. And if I go to Truly Bedrock Season 2, there we are. This is it. I'm back on the world. Everything's done. It's ready to go. I can invite all of the other members and tell them that we are back online. That's amazing. Now, there is still a lot of admin for me to do. Whilst Truly Bedrock might be back online, I've got all my patron servers and things to do all of that for all over again. So 2 patron servers and a family world. And for you guys as well, I need to do a new download on the trulybedrock.com website for the updated packs and the updated worlds for you all to download. I'm going to be doing that in a minute, so hopefully you'll have access to that very, very soon. But for now, I'm going to go and message the other members, let them know they can get back on here. And if I can just be myself for a moment. Oh, we can do the emote things now, can't we? I forgot about that. How do I do that? Oh, jeez. And there we go. I've got a whole thing full of ridiculous emotes. Oh, my goodness. One thing that the game definitely did not need. Oh, my goodness me. I'm sure everyone's going to be having plenty of fun with these ridiculous emotes. At least they seem to have got rid of that horrible waving one. Oh, no, it's there. No! So there we go. On that note, I'd like to say thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do please leave a like. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. And hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!